G'day viewers, Reboot and Wally here with the Week 11 Appalachian News update in the studios. Wally, what have we got up first? Okay, we've got Reboot live at the at the White House with the update of what happened over the last 7 days. Yeah, thanks Wally. Live here at the White House. Haven't seen the President. Beautiful day today. This is day 78 and it'll be the weekly update live in the studio, but currently I'm live at the White House right there, hoping to see Trump. And it's been a beautiful day. There's plenty of picturesque buildings, so have a look at the shots we've taken and some of the video, and I'll see you back in the studio with Wally. Reboot out. Hey viewers, day 78, 6:50 AM. I'm at the train station ready to go to Washington DC. So it's the 1st of June. And yeah, we board the train, pay on the train, $12 each way I think it is, 2-hour trip. And I just heard a beep, so I think it's coming. And the train's a little bit behind, we had a tree across the track. Made it very easy to station. No staff at the station, so you just purchase it on the train, $24 return. In Washington Union Station. It's taken me a while to actually work out how to get out of here. This room is very impressive. Statues all around. It's miles high, but I'd say I go through here. There's one of the first views of one of those iconic buildings. So that's Washington Union Station, where the train came in, and I'm heading down through the parks up to the Capitol Hill. So this is one of the Senate office buildings, and it's massive. All the buildings are basically around each other in a horseshoe shape around the Capitol building. That's Union Station down there. I've just come straight up this road, Delaware Avenue, and there's the Capitol building through the trees just there. This building is amazing. Yeah, wow, it's big. And the architecture, wow. This is the Justice building, one around from the Capitol. The Capitol building is just behind me through those trees, and the Senate building is behind those trees, and then you come round and we've got this the Justice building. This building is the Jefferson Congress Library, or Library of Jefferson Congress, something like that. Anyway, another huge building. I'm now around the other side of the Capitol building, and this is the view that they get, looking down, all the way down to the the other way to the monument. They call that the National Mall, and on either side of the park is a whole lot of museums. That park that runs all the way down here to that monument, also just past, or just at the monument I think. Hang on, I'm just having a look at my map. Yes, at the monument. Just to that side of the monument is the White House, so I'm going to be walking down there, go past all the museums, and then even further past the monument is the Lincoln Museum, and I might try and go down there as well. A lot of walking today. I've walked a fair way down from the Capitol building, which is up there. Went past a few of the museums. I've got a bottle of Coke because it's quite a warm day, and it's a 1 litre, so I don't want to have to scull it, and they don't let you in with anything but water, so I'll probably have a look in on the way back. Hopefully by then I've drunk my Coke. But yeah, that's the monument in front of us, and then to the right, down a couple of streets in Park, is the White House. And there's another major building there. Don't know what that one is yet, haven't had a look. So Tash, you would love this building. It's old, it's got style, and it looks like a big castle. So it's the Smithsonian Institution. Try and show on the map where I've come from. So that's the train station that I came in on. Just walked up a park from there. Then that's the main Capitol building with, you know, the Justice building and the libraries. Then you've got that long park all the way through. The monuments there. I'm going to go up to the White House, so that's around the corner, and then I want to go to the Lincoln Memorial as well. And all of these along here, which is the National Mall, are all museums. That big building I didn't know before was the National History Museum, and I want to go into the Air and Space Museum, which is one of the ones I saw on the movie, was it Night at the Museum? So I just sort of have a look into there. It's a fair walk, and yeah, I'll hopefully have my Coke drunk so I can go into the museums. Wow, now that's a motel. The Department of Commerce building is just massive. And it goes around nearly the whole block. Monument again, and then come around, and we're at the White House. So they don't let you get too close anymore. They've got it all barricaded off. The gardens are immaculate. And yeah, that's the White House. Beautiful. I'm down at the World War II Memorial. There's a Lincoln Museum down the end there, which I'll be going to. That's called the Reflection Pond in the distance. Really nice. Really nice what they've done. And basically that's at the end, past the monument, and if you look way in the distance you can just see the top of the Capitol building. It's really nice here. They've done this well. Viewers, I'm just coming down to the Lincoln Memorial. Just wanted to say, the best word I can put for Washington, the way it's done, is majestic. I'm really surprised how beautiful it all is. Some very big old buildings, but they just look so grand. And they've done this well. They definitely have done this well. And they have all their lawns mowed, and even all the visitors, you're allowed to walk on the lawns in Australia. I'm sure we would be, but mostly the Americans, they stick to the paths and keep off the lawns. Don't even picnic on the lawns. They sort of find a cool spot on the paths and they sit down there. So it just makes everything look even nicer. So yeah, good day off. Glad I came to visit. Not what I expected, and well set out. They just go down one long strip. I've been walking for a couple of hours now down one strip. Going to get to this Lincoln thing, which is not that far to go. It's just back there, and that's the last one. And then I'll head back. I'll probably go to the Air Museum, and then go back to the train station, have something to eat, and catch the train. By then it should be about 4 o'clock, which is the first train back. In this temple, as in the hearts of the people for whom he saved, the union, the memory of Abraham Lincoln is enshrined forever. Okay, so I'm in the Air and Space Museum, and obviously this is what they would like for the future. Star Trek Enterprise. So this gives you a really good indication of the size of the planets. That's Jupiter. There's some moons around it. Saturn. The green one's Neptune. Uranus. And you got Mars. And you got Earth. Venus. And Mercury. Oh, Saturn and Jupiter are huge. Now, on foot, travelling over this bridge again. So this is the second time I've crossed the Maryland-West Virginia border, because this bridge separates the two, or this river does anyway. Much nicer day today, but again, start hiking tomorrow and it's supposed to be rain again. A great day in Washington today. Really picturesque, good. Train was easy in and easy out. It was getting to the train and getting back from the train is a bit of a pain, but the rest is good. I took the shortcut to the hostel, but now that I know where it is, I need to walk the AT. So I'm actually on the AT trail now, which will take me about 1 to 2 miles past the hostel, and then I've got to take a road back to the hostel. But I'm right next to the Potomac. It's a beautiful day, there's a bit of warmth. Thought, oh well, I'll go and hike it. And that way I'll know where to catch the trail tomorrow morning. This is the hostel. From the road, it sort of looks like it's abandoned. When you go around the back, that's where it's all happening. Closed up boards, and it does say please enter around the back. And tomorrow I'll be heading up there. That's where I went yesterday to get dinner from the petrol station. And I turned left, but I'll be turning right. This is it. It's a Reboot here, still live in Washington DC. The day 71 was from Loft Mountain to High Top Knob Shelter, I think it was. I was feeling a little bit down that day. I had Hawkeye gave me trail magic at a parkway. He thought I'd stopped earlier, but if you remember on day 70 I had to move on because the rangers wouldn't let me camp there, so I walked an extra 4 miles. So while I was waiting at this car place, he texted me and said he was going to be there at 11:30. I got there at 10. I had my food out, organised my food, and I look up and about 100 yards down the road was a bear. Thinking, oh, I better pack up my food, I hope he doesn't come this way, but he didn't. He went into the trees where I was going to start hiking later, but I never saw him later. Because I'd done the extra 6 the day before, I only did 14 that day, and like I said, I was a bit lethargic. Day 72 got up and went from High Top Knob to just the other side of Big Meadows Campground. Now, Memorial Weekend, Big Meadows had filled up with day campers, so there was no camping there anyway. But I did stop at the Wayside, and the Wayside was really nice. It was a restaurant. I had spaghetti, salad, and then I had some chicken wings in that, including a blackberry shake, which that was all right, and endless Coke. While I was in there, a thunderstorm come through too, so I lucked out with missing the thunderstorm. And then I went out and hiked around to the shelter. It did rain, so I still got wet. I got one spot in the shelter. It was packed. The shelter was full, and there would have been 15 tents around it. While we were there, another couple of hikers come in and said there was a big bear at the top of the junction, which is about 200 yards or 300 metres from the shelter. So a whole lot of people went up. I was too tired. I'd done 23 miles. Took some photos and video of the bear. I was just worried he's going to come down during the night while we were asleep, but no. Well, if he did, I never heard him. Day 73, got up early, hopped out of there, first one out, and then I was going to go to the Skyline Resort for all-you-can-eat breakfast. Being a Sunday, they had all-you-can-eat buffet breakfast, and just about 2 miles before it, my shoelace come undone, so I stopped to do my shoelace up. And it's funny how timing is everything, because just as I did that, another hiker came up behind me, one I didn't recognise. I thought, well, he's hiking quicker than me, I'll let him go through. And within a minute of him going in front of me, we come across a mother bear with 2 cubs walking on the trail, and the mama bear charged him, and he whacked his poles and scared the bear off. Now, if he hadn't have been there and I'd have been doing it myself, I was in my own world. I probably would have ran into the bear. So I got pretty lucky there. Skyland Resort was great. Went in there, all you can eat breakfast, $14, endless orange juice, hot chocolates, pancakes and everything. Really boosted the energy levels. And then I got into Open Arms Hostel in Luray. Again, timing. I got to a public toilet spot where the pickup point was. I had about 5 steps to go, and a few big drops come down. I'd heard lightning and thunder for a while, so I quickly bolted a couple of steps, got under, and then it bucketed down. Everyone else got drenched. I was right, I didn't get wet at all. So I got very, very lucky there. I've been quite lucky with the rain. While I was there, we went out to tea with a couple other hikers, and they were slack packing the next day, getting their pack taken for $15, an extra 28 miles to another hostel, one that I'd sort of thought about staying at, and they convinced me to go in as well. So instead of costing them $23 each, it cost us each $15. Got me pack picked up, we got dropped off on the trail, and then I proceeded to hike 28 miles with these 2 others, and they hiked quick. Got into that hostel, was called Mountain House Cabin. I thought we were going to be in the cabin, which is what they normally do, but that was booked out. They actually put us into the big house. It was a big old house. He's doing up as an Airbnb. Really nice. We went out to tea again there, only because I didn't have anything really to eat in the house, and probably a proper restaurant, so it wasn't takeaway or anything like that. It was where you go for a proper restaurant, and the food, you could tell the difference, but it was more expensive. So what's that? I think that was 73. No, sorry, that was 74. So 75, I left there and I did 23 miles to Rod Hollow shelter. Misty, rainy, really humid. Hiked most of the day without my top on. I got, just from the sweat and then the rain, my shirt gave me a rash and it was hurting severely. So yeah, hiked without the shirt, got into the shelter. There was 3 other campers there in tents. I was the only one in the shelter. I didn't care, I just went up on the top bunks. Nice and roomy. Got up the next morning, and then I was going to hike to David something shelter, which was the last one pretty much before the town. But I got 3 miles out and I was reading the gut hooks happen and said the water at the shelter was really down a massive steep downhill and like 0.3 of a mile, and I thought, well, I'll go to this hostel down here that's 0.3 of a mile, and if they've got a bed, it's a donation only, so I probably put $5 in or whatever, and if they haven't got a bed, I'll just get me water there. It's the same sort of distance. So I went down, and luckily enough for me, they did have a bed. And then even more luckily, she didn't cook every night, but she cooked. And again, it was just a donation. And then I said, I won't probably see you in the morning, but thank you for cooking on it. She goes, oh, aren't you? Oh, we've got pancakes tomorrow morning. So I had pancakes in the morning as well. I got Cokes, colas. Again, all for a donation. There was no set price, so I put some money in the donation box, left the following morning, and then 77 was hiked into Harper's Ferry. Went to the visitor centre, forgot to weigh in, I needed to do that, and then found out the hostel that I was staying in at the Harper's Ferry was actually in Knoxville, which is in the next state, and quite a walk. One of the locals told me a shortcut where I sort of jumped the fence through and got over a canal, and then that saves me like a 3 mile or 5 kilometre walk around. Oh, that was very interesting, Wally, wasn't it? Live action there at the White House. So yeah, we'll move on to the financials for the week and the miles. So week 11, we did 136.5 miles. Sorry about that, viewers, just got interrupted by a FaceTime message while I was trying to do the news. So yeah, 136.5 miles, which is by far my biggest week. It's 10 miles bigger than my next previous, or actually 11. I'm up to 1,026.2, so I've covered the 1,000 mile mark. 1,095 is basically halfway, so I'm about 70 miles short, which will be about 4 days. 1,642 kilometres completed. This week, 136.5 miles, 219 kilometres. I've done 200 was my next best. For the week, average of 20 miles per day, which is 31 kilometres per day. And now my average is 13 miles per day overall, but it's gone up to 21 kilometres, so it must be just rounding. Money spent this week, we did spend a bit, but less than the budget. So resupply was $27.31 American, or $36.41 Australian. Restaurant food, $148. That included a spaghetti dinner at Big Meadows. Also then I had breakfast at Skyline the next day. I had pizza for dinner at what do you call it, the Open Arms Hostel. I always struggle with that one. I bought a few Cokes around the place. Had dinner, $35 dinner at the Blue Frog, I think it was called, in something Royal. I can't remember what the town name was, but it was a beautiful restaurant and the food was fantastic. A bit more expensive than what we normally spend though. Front Royal, that's what it's called, Front Royal. Also, I spent $1 on dinner and breakfast at the free stay or donation stay hostel, which I didn't expect to stay at. And then last night I had $35 dinner at a bar and grill. Again, more than I would normally like to spend, but it was the only thing local. So yeah, $148 in food, $88.40 in hostel stays, which when you consider I actually stayed in 7 days, I stayed in 4 hostels. That's quite a good price really, 4 nights accommodation for $90. I did spend $15 on shuttling my pack so I could do a slack pack 28-mile day. That saved me some food because I did 2 days worth of hiking in 1 day. Laundry, $5.25. Got in with someone else in one of the laundries, so it cost me less. And that was it for the week. So that came to a total of $256.65 American, or $342.20 Australian. Adding that to the resupply was $378.61 Australian, $283.96 American. So my total for the first 11 weeks now is $3,877.42 Australian, or $2,918.65 American, so just under $300 American a week. And my budget for this period should have been $3,991, so I'm actually $114 under my budget, even with those extra hostel stays. But like I said, one hostel stay was just like going to a hot dog stand and buying a hot dog in a can, because it was a donation stay. I had $6 on me. They don't take credit cards, so I put the $6 in there. And it was well worth the $6, much better than going to a shelter in the rain. I'll do another update next week. See ya.